Good evening and welcome to tonight's town hall meeting. My name is Guy Danhoff, your MOSHAPE Director of Digital Media and Promotion. This town hall is being recorded and will be made available tomorrow morning in an email sent from our Executive Director, Dr. Tom Loughrey. The purpose of tonight is to discuss advocacy as it relates to the Missouri House of Representative Bill HB 124. The bill, if approved, would allow members of high school marching bands and show choirs to receive physical education credit required for graduation. Now, each of you must have received a copy of the action alert created by MOSHAPE Advocacy Committee Chair, Dr. Sherry Beeler, as well as Advocacy Committee Member, Dr. Carol Cox. Included in the action alerts is a full description of the HB 124 bill and the processes to follow in advocating to members of the House Elementary and Secondary Education Committee. Now, I would like to review just a few housekeeping rules for tonight's town hall. We would ask that you hold all your questions until the end. However, if you would like, you can go ahead and submit your questions anytime in the chat, as we will have a Q&A session at the very end so that you can ask your questions and get you the answers that you're looking for. To begin now, I would like to have Dr. Cox describe the advocacy process as well as the materials included in the action alert. It will also be helpful, Dr. Cox, if you could explain to our members a few of the do's and don'ts about their role in this process. Thank you, Dr. Cox.
Great, thanks, Guy. I'm Carol Cox. I'm sitting in tonight for Dr. Sherry Beeler. She's the chair of MOSHAPE Advocacy Committee. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about House Bill 124 and give you 3 easy steps, repeat, 3 easy steps to get involved and to help us out here. First, the House and Senate, just started their session on Tuesday, and we already have a little hiccup here. Representative Ian Mackey introduced a very similar measure as like House Bill 124 in the last session. It didn't make it very far. We had some good advocates on the Elementary and Secondary Education Committee who basically shut it down. He's try again. It's on its second read, and we'd like to nip this in the bud. Hey, let me tell you a little bit about, I guess, basically 3 easy steps to get involved. Step 1, you need to learn about the proposed legislation in the bill. House Bill 124, just what Guy said, allows show choir and marching band to satisfy high school physical education requirements. Here's what the bill says. The State Board of Education shall adopt and promulgate rules and regulations deemed necessary, blah, 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 with the advice and cooperation of the Director of the State Department of Health and Senior Services, compile and print a manual, physical education, health supervision, school nurse services, blah, blah, blah. Here's where the change is. And adopt and promulgate rules necessary to allow students' participation in a curricular, show choir, or marching band to satisfy physical education credits required for graduation from the student's high school. Okay, so step 1, if you can get in on Missouri House of Reps website, click on the bills, and you can read the bill in its entirety. Okay, step 2, if that's something that we don't want, the easiest thing to do is to contact all members of the Missouri House of Representatives on the Elementary and Secondary Education Committee now. Yesterday, now. Again, they just started session. This is the time. Let them know what we're thinking here. And you tell them to vote no on House Bill 124. Tell them the name of the bill and the title of the bill. So vote no on House Bill 124, allows show choir and marching band to satisfy high school physical education credits if and when it gets to a vote. Hey, in order to do that and to contact them, I'd say contact the ones on the committee, at minimum, the chair and the co-chair. Get your emails, your phone calls, there's Twitter, there's fax, any way you want to do it. The more ways, the better, and the more people, the better. You can go to house.mo.gov committees, or just Google Missouri House Committees. All you have to do is scroll down on the left side whenever you get to that website, and it'll say all committees. And you'll click on the Elementary and Secondary Education Committee. There's all the members' names, their emails, where they're from, because you really need to know what district they're in. Email and call, there's 14 of them. And also a big thing is call your district representative. A lot of them like, well, our priority is our district, our people in our district. If you're not from our district, we're not going to listen to you as much. But again, they are in the Elementary and Secondary Education Committee, 14 of them, plus your district rep. Now, here's the kind of the do's and don'ts in the contacting. If you're a teacher, government employee, use your personal Gmail account, not your school account, with your computer or whatever, and then identify yourself as a citizen, a parent, a constituent. If you live in any of those 14 representatives on the Elementary and Secondary Education Committee's district, tell them that. Hey, let them know you're a concerned citizen, you care about our kids, and you're from their district. They're going to listen to you a little bit more. All right. For example, you would say, hello, my name is, and I'm a concerned citizen, parent, student. I live in your district. Or if you know them in any way or have had any other kind of interaction with them, please, drop names. Then let them know you strongly urge them to oppose House Bill 124. Always say the number and then always say the title so they know. They may not get this, their legislative assistant would get it, and then they'd have to look it up, etc. A lot of the representatives are very proud that they answer the emails personally. So be personable in your emails. Let them know why. I oppose this because, or my family and I are very concerned about this, or my neighbors and all the people in the bowling league. Just let them know there's more than you. Okay, and then give them the whys, give them the facts, give them the stats. I think a big thing we can bring is about the GLEAS, DESE rules, etc. Ian Mackey brought this up. He's not on that committee. He may not know how things work in education and how, what GLE even stands for. COVID-19 concerns, our kids need the physical education, so they can be physically active for life even when they're locked down. Bring anything in there. So facts and stats, and then something personal. My family and I, or the children in our neighborhood, the kids at the church don't seem to be healthy, etc. So, good plug for physical education, personal kind of story. Don't go on and on, just, get to the point, but back it with facts and stats. And then I think the biggest thing is it needs to come from the people. We're teachers, and we've kind of have an if you get rid of physical education, then we're getting rid of our jobs. So we're just fighting for our jobs, where it's not, we're fighting for the kids. Okay? So I wouldn't even say I was a teacher, just talk about you, your family, your neighbors, church people, whatever. And then speaking of family and neighbors, the action alert, or just your own Facebook, emails, networks, if you belong to teacher groups, if you belong to church groups, get this out to groups and groups of people. I think it's going to be good to get us right off the bat advocating for ourselves, advocating for our profession, and educating others while we're doing it. Again, family members, other teachers, you better talk to the choir teacher. I don't think anybody talked to them, or the band directors going, hey, how about that fitness testing? You're going to do the beep test? They go, what are you talking about? So, they're not really into that too. And that's something I think we may want to talk to the band and choir, or whatever, fine arts people, to see what they think. And I think they'd be with us. But yeah, tell your friends, your neighbors, your family members, other networks, and tell them the same thing, or just keep pushing out the action alert. And then step 3, stay up to date on the bill. MOSHAPE's going to stay up to date on the bill, but it's called Legiscan, Legiscan. Just Google that, and you can put the bill number in. It'll track it, and it'll pop into your email, and it'll say, hey, it moved from here to here. It's 25% through the process. Here's who sponsored it. Here's if there's any other co-sponsors, where it is, all the information on it, and it would come to you. You're busy all day, and if things can just, you know, pop into your email and you keep an eye on it. Now, if I see it, I'll tell somebody. Whoever sees it, you know, they'll tell somebody else, and then we get more eyes on it. Basically, more eyes on it, the better. Okay, so step one, learn about the bill. Step two, step up and email, phone call. You know, tell the elementary and secondary education committee and your district representative what you think, okay? And then keep track of everything as you're spreading the word. Hey, thanks a lot for your time.
Dr. Cox, thank you so much for that rich discussion and as well as explanation of what we can do. And you made some great points. And now what we want to do is shift that focus. Now I'd like to introduce our MOSHAPE president, Dr. Patrick Fine, as he's actually going to introduce one of the high school teachers to discuss the teacher's point of view of the potential effects and impact of the bill. Patrick?
Thank you, Guy. I am Patrick Fine, and I work in the curriculum department in the Rockwood School District, and my content area is health and physical education. You know, every year I have a couple parents call me about exempting their child from PE. Their child may be a select soccer player or a AAA hockey player, or might be a level 9 gymnast. And in every case, I tell the parent the same thing, that high school physical education is more than physical activity, and I send them the curriculum. In our high school physical education curriculum, we have 36 outcomes, and only one of those outcomes would be covered by show choir or marching band. Those parents have the same image of high school physical education that the representatives that drafted House Bill 124 have. I work with high school physical education teachers, but I've never been one. But we have one of the finest high school physical education teachers here tonight. Felicia Durst teaches at Marquette High School in the Rockwood School District. She's the chair of the department. She's working towards her national board certification, and she is truly an exceptional teacher. Felicia, would you share your thoughts about the bill and the impact you believe it will have?
Thanks, Pat. No longer working towards, I have passed my national board certification. So thank you. Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to share with you the importance of students being in physical education class. PE class is more than just physical activity. Students are given sustainable tools to help them lead physically active lives, healthy, well-rounded lives for their entire lifetime. The benefits students receive from PE class are not limited to this list, but here's a few of the important ones. Students learn about the benefits of exercise and the importance of being physically active. Not just being physically active, but why is it important to be physically active? The risk factors that we cannot control in our life and how to control the risk factors that we can control. Guidelines for exercise, how to warm up, how to cool down, why it's important to warm up and cool down, heat-related, cold-related illnesses, how to prevent them. They learn about the health-related and skill-related components of fitness, the principles of exercise and how to apply those principles to the health-related and skill-related components of fitness. The importance of flexibility and how it can help you relieve stress, prevent injuries, and help that lower back pain that seems to creep in later in life. They learn about target heart rates, maximum heart rates, recovery heart rates, and rate of perceived exertion, and how to use each of these when exercising to improve cardiovascular fitness. They learn the proper techniques when lifting weights or performing body weight exercises to help prevent injuries from simple tasks like lifting up a child or carrying the groceries. They learn about proper nutrition, hydration, and energy balance, goal setting, how to overcome barriers to exercise. They learn about social and emotional health through things like yoga, meditation, and mindfulness activities. They learn skills, rules, and etiquette for various sports and activities that they can enjoy throughout their lifetime. They create a fitness plan and a nutrition plan that they can use in high school, college, or even adulthood. They learn how to swim. They even learn how to be a lifeguard. The list goes on and on. If students are allowed to obtain their graduation requirements through marching band and show choir, they'd be missing out on a special emotional, physical, and cognitive skill set that they can only get in PE class. Thank you.
Thank you, Felicia. I don't know about you, but I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. So what I'd like to do now, if you have questions, feel free to start putting those in the chat. And that way we'll be able to ask our MOSHAPE President-elect Anna Forsalito, as well as MOSHAPE Communications Committee Chair Chris Staley, to share selected questions.
Hey, Sean Ellis just said Felicia just took us to HBE Church, and I could not agree with you more. That was phenomenal. You made me choke up a little bit as you were reading all those things off or saying all those things. I get like, it sparks that fire inside of me again that just reaffirms that we're in the right space at the right time to continue just to, you know, share our passion and advocate passionately for the necessity of health and physical education. So thank you so much for doing all that, Felicia. That was awesome.
Yeah, Felicia. So Ryan Armstrong asked, is there a way we can get access to those benefits? It was great stuff. And he I think Ryan wants some access to your benefits there.
Yes, that was awesome. Great.
Pat has, Pat Fine, you have access to it. So Pat, if you want to share that out to everybody, please.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, to have something I can kind of like include, just like take some points off that and include it into something. That letter there, am I right?
So Tom, just for a point of reference, is that something that you could share when you send out the emails tomorrow? That way everyone have access to that document?
Yes, there are a number of documents that relate to that, and I'll respond to Felicia's comments and things like that in my wrap up. Okay. Very well done, Felicia. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And Guy, there's a list of links in at the very end of the action alert to all the national bullet points and things that you can basically cut and paste and slap into your letter, paraphrase, and then add your own personal touch.
Okay, thank you for adding that too.
Guy, Dr. Dochev would like to say something.
Sure, go ahead.
I have a question for Carol, if it's okay.
Yeah, sure, go Dennis.
There are some people who are going to argue in their letters and emails and Twitters that, well, by golly, we listen to music and use music. We should give credit for the other show choir and band. And my personal opinion is we shouldn't get into this back and forth arguing. We should focus on why physical education is important. So how would the legislators respond if we get into this back and forth of, well, if they're going to take our credit, we're going to take their credit thing?
I don't think we should get into that. I think you're right. Let's stay positive, do all the, exactly what she said, all the positive benefits. Shape America and the CDC, and there are places we can go to get all the facts, can basically speak for ourselves, so we don't have to be turf oriented and that type of thing. I mean, from like an elementary point of view, they share everything. They'll split up their glee. They'll, we should all be elementary school teachers. But for those of us that aren't, yeah. You touch a little bit on, especially for the people who don't understand what a glee is or what we're supposed to be doing and all the outcomes we're supposed to meet. Let them know the positives about all those outcomes, but then also that they can't be met other places. And we have a place, and they're legislators, the ESSA. And you don't want to say a core class, but all the classes are important. Okay? So anything from ESSA in the action alert. There's also a resource section with maybe a dozen links to all of this information. So if somebody wants to go more education-wise, or somebody wants to go more ESSA, they can take some of that. So if everybody's doing a little bit and I don't know, kind of mixing up the rationale, the legislators will be able to hear a lot of different rationale.
Thank you, Carol.
Anna or Chris, I think we have another question.
Yeah, so Ryan Armstrong asked if we have the document that has the emails of the people we need to reach out to, and I explained to him, I believe, Doc Loughrey, you said you have that?
Yes, it's going out in the email to everybody tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Okay.
Well, I could do it tonight too. I'll do it tonight. It'd be very simple. I've got it on the spreadsheet.
And his updated action alert also has it, the names and the emails and the phones.
I think there's another question, Chris or Anna.
Oh, did I miss it? Hold on. Well,
It asks if it includes their Twitter handles, and Doc said it does not have their Twitter handles on it. You said just their representative emails and phone numbers, correct, Doc?
Yes. Yes, only their legislative contact information, no personal information. In the past, they've had Twitter handles. No, I believe that's at the federal level. The federal level, when you get the booklet, Dennis, you've been on the Speak Out days, and we get the booklet with all the contacts. That has their Facebook and Twitter and Instagram account contacts, but not so in the state of Missouri.
And Laura Beckman just had suggested about the American Academy of Pediatrics Healthy People. You know, her and I spoke earlier this evening, and they're some of our strongest advocates of health and physical education. So it's really making a great point to reach out to them and to partner with them because they really do support and encourage what we do and who we are as educators. And Surgeon General's report, Guy, do you want to speak to at all a little bit, or is there anyone with the national organizations? I know Shape America is one of our amazing supporters and is providing constant resources to advocate for what we do.
Yeah, I talked to actually Joey Martelli about that, who's, oversees, the resources and certainly the public relations side. So there, you can just go to the website. It's all there. He said, if there's anything more specific we need, I can certainly help and get that information as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there will be more things coming out because of advocacy. Speak Out Day is coming, or Speak Out Week, because it's going to be week long. That will be happening. So more things will be coming out to support us with that.
Absolutely. Is there any more questions then?
I want to, more so for our people, our viewers that watch this after we put it out. Patrick, I believe it was you we talked about not too long ago in our closed board meeting session about not only how this could possibly affect physical education teachers, but the struggle for athletic directors and also you being in charge of your curriculum with your district. Can you kind of, for our viewers, can you kind of tell them how you think that would also not only just affect the teaching side of it, but the athletics and the athletic directors and all that?
Sure, Chris. I've had conversations over the last year or so with a bunch of athletic directors about their challenge with hiring coaches. Is that there's a shortage of coaches, and they're struggling to try to fill different spots. So if this went into effect, it would affect physical education departments. It would possibly reduce the potential coaches. So athletic directors, I think, would be very much interested in what's happening with this bill because it's going to drastically impact their job.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Patrick. So with that, just take one more look for any questions. And if not, we're going to wrap up with our executive director.
Thank you, Guy. Thank you, Patrick, and especially to Felicia for your comments. Carol, you know how we value you, how I've enjoyed working with you, and you have helped us in so many ways. I can remember the first legislative hearing we went to back 12 or 13 years ago, where we were supposed to have a hearing at 5 o'clock. We actually began about 10:30 at night. And you had some students from Truman State, fabulous presentations by them. The more people we have show up at hearings, the better we are. The issue with that is unless you're on Legiscan and you click and you're all registered for alerts, they may send out an alert at 6 o'clock in the morning saying, we are having a hearing on Bill 124, HB 124 at 3:30 this afternoon. Well, you don't get a chance to plan ahead. So all of our planning has to be done, has to be in place. I, for one, have the flexibility to see an alert, get in the car, and I'll be in Jeff City at the Capitol 2 hours later. So I want more people. It's critical that we have leaders of our association coming together to present at the hearing, because I've been in other hearings where no one was there to defend one side or the other. And that's not very good. So again, we want as many people as possible to join in. We have many, many documents that we've used in the past that have been successful. I shared 4 or 5 documents with the board of directors. All board of directors members have a comparison of what standards could be met by the physical education teacher, as opposed to what standards could be met by the band director or the show choir director. Overwhelming. In talking about all the things that Felicia has included in the Rockwood curriculum, this is solid, folks. But the point that I made in one of the previous hearings was that, yes, we have a lot of things that we want to do, but we are hampered. We are starting with 1/4 of a tank of gas. In English, you have a 4-year requirement. In math, you have a 4-year requirement. PE, you have a 1-year requirement. Now you want to dilute it, and you expect us to teach the concepts, the behaviors that will be beneficial for a lifetime. So there are many ways that we talk with them about this. A couple of things. The document that I will include in the email has the first and last name of each member, the district that they represent. And when you look in their personal profile, you can see what counties, because in some cases, there are 2 or 3 counties that they work in. Others, it's just part of one county, especially in the larger areas. I have their email address, their legislative phone number, and also I included on that what their career was. Because in a few cases, we have one who was a retired agriculture teacher, one who was a former dean at Ozark Bible College, one who was a former educator, administrator, superintendent in the Sedalia School District, and one who was a band director and music ed professor. So you can see that there will be somebody on there that'll have an opinion different from what we do. Felicia talked a lot about the risk factors that people face. If you look, and especially if you're teaching at the high school level, you need to go to the CDC Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance Studies and look at the Missouri data, because that will show you the risk factors that our students report. This is self-reporting. And especially when you're looking at mental and emotional health and suicide attempts, talking about suicide, this is critical information to talk about. Risk factors is one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is what you people provide. You're providing the protective factors. The types and amounts of physical activity, the eating behaviors, the mental and emotional well-being, how you feel about yourself as a person, how you interact with people socially, what your goals are. Those are the protective factors that allow a little old farm boy from Iowa like me to live to be 80 years of age, taking no pills. We need to get these messages out so that we provide this. Then the other aspect that really resonates is looking at the healthcare costs. And some of the data on, from CDC on obesity and some of the other, not just that, but all unhealthy behaviors will calculate for you the premature death rate. And premature death means that if you were born in such and such a year, you're expected to live to be 79 years old. But if you die at 64, you've lost 15 productive years of life, which means that the government has not had taxes. They haven't had gas tax. They haven't had sales tax. The economic factors are unbelievable. We plan to have data available for these people that talks about the positive things. In a way, Patrick, you made the comment about the coaches and the athletic directors. This is one time that I'm sort of sad that they didn't include athletics as a way to receive credit for physical education, because we have solid documents from the Wisconsin Interscholastic Association showing how different they are. I will give one word of caution. This came out of the interview yesterday. Chris and Terry Garner were on the interview with the reporter from the St. Joseph News Messenger. And one of the questions that the reporter asked Terry was, is this just something you're trying to do to protect your jobs? That can be the bad side of the sword. That can be the side of the sword that hurts us. Yes, it is a factor. The athletic directors and the coaches should use our same messaging and show how important it is for the lessons to be learned and what has to be done. I have a couple of studies. One was done of the amount of physical activity exertion put in during a 1.5 hour marching band practice. And it amounted to moderate physical activity for about 3 minutes and 15 seconds out of an hour and a half. So if we get to a hearing, one of the things that I will ask, what evidence do you have that students in show choir and marching band receive adequate amounts of moderate to vigorous physical activity that would normally be achieved in your high school physical education class? That's a way to come in the back door and put the onus on those supporting the bill to provide evidence. We will have evidence. And it's critically important. If any of you tuned into this have any documents of evidence, whether they be Chuck Hillman's brain scans of children sitting for 20 minutes versus children walking for 20 minutes, we have all kinds of evidence supporting our need. So I'm going to issue a call to action, not only to all of you who are live on this broadcast tonight, to make sure that you check your email tomorrow to get the contact information and other documents, and then to contact 5 other of your colleagues and have them do the same thing and have them contact 5 more and 5 more. And it's not just high school physical education teachers that need to be involved in this. You may be an elementary physical education teacher in Boonville, and it could very well be that one of these people, in fact, the chair, Chuck Basie, is representing part of Boone County. And it might be that you have his grandson in your class. Aha, a connection. Use that connection when you connect with Chair Chuck Basie. And then get other parents involved. Comments from students can be powerful. So all I can say is thank you. Thank you to our leaders for who are really out in front and putting us on the map. This has to spread throughout our state. Contact 5 tomorrow, every one of you. Have them contact 5 more, have them contact 5 more. And let's see what we can do about having a real logjam of emails and phone messages. And when you call that phone number, you will talk with a legislative assistant. But explain what you want and ask. The ask is simple: vote no on House Bill 124. If you want documenting information from me, I will send it to you. Usually they will say no. but send it anyway. And this is what it takes for legislative action to work. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time, your devotion. I'm so happy to see people like Lisa Neeson on, Jana Bedwell on, Ryan Armstrong, happy to have you with us here. So many others that I'd like to mention. But get the word out and let's make this work. I can guarantee you one thing, unless something happens to me, I will be at the hearing. I want as many of you stacked up with me as possible. So thanks again, Guy. You did another wonderful job for us. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Tom, for those powerful words. And now the ball's in our court. We now know what to do. We have an action plan. You know, we are here to help you in any way we can. You can also always reach out to Doc. He's going to be very available. We'll be sending a lot of resources and information to you tomorrow. This is our chance for everyone to stand together in the state of Missouri. I want to thank each and every one of you. Thank our presenters tonight. And also just thank you for making this investment in tonight's town hall. Tomorrow we'll make the recording available. And again, let's stay strong. Let's stay MOSHAPE strong. Thank you and good night.